Hey everyone, I hope all is well. Today I'm going to show you the project for the landscaping digital drawing. And so since we are using Pixlr, of course, I am going to show you in Pixlr. And I did say it was a landscape drawing. However, if you want to draw something else that is school appropriate, that is totally fine. And you can use your own artwork as well. I'm using another picture just so that I can be inspired by. So in Pixlr, I'm going to go to stock search and I'm going to find a landscape that I really like. And this popped up, all of these popped up, which is really great. And I am going to choose this one. It happens to be a really good one. Click on it, say full high definition. In the directions, I do say that it should be a certain dimension. However, if it is a high resolution image, that's okay too. However, if it is a small image or an image that you found off of Google, please make sure that it is the dimensions that I mentioned. So here is a really nice landscape photograph, and I want to make it digital. I want to paint it myself. I'm not going to use a filter. I'm going to paint it myself. If you look over here, you see the layers and you see the history, and over here you see the tools, etc. And so what I'm going to do is just unlock this. I'll double click and unlock that just in case. The next thing I want to do is create another layer. So I'm going to press plus and come over here and get an empty layer. Now, to do is pretty simple. I'm going to use this draw tool, which in Photoshop would be the paintbrush. And so, so here, if I click on it, you're going to look up here, you're going to see brush. It's at 40, the dimension's at 40, opacity is at 100. Remember, you can change that so that it looks transparent. So what I'm going to do is when I click on the brush, you don't have a lot of options in terms of what the brush is going to look like. So if you wanted a brush that actually looked like a paint, like it had a bunch of paint on it, we don't really have that in Pixlr. Unfortunately, we do in Photoshop. And so if you want a brush that has a very clear and clean edge, you can choose one of these, or you can come down here. You can also change that up here as well. So yeah, I can change the size, but if I don't want as much softness, I can come back here and it's nice and clear, or I can go all the way and say 100 and you can see how fuzzy it can get. So it depends on what kind of effect you really want to do with it. So I'm going to keep it like this. Now, for that, for your brush, if you come down here, these are the colors that you can use. This white color is primarily the color that is going right now, that is going to be the color that you're going to use as your brush. If I click on it, then I can change the colors very easily. If, I'm going to cancel out of that, if, for instance, you want a color that if you are using an image to be inspired by, and if you want basically these colors to actually use, you can go to the, hold on, where is it? What do they call it? They call it the picker. And so it kind of like soaks up the color. And so I'm going to come over here and you can see in that drop, it's the color that you see in there is the color that it's going to take. And I want it to be the lighter color. Let's move it a little bit. I need the lighter color. I'm going to click. And now you can see that it is here. And that's the color of the brush that I'm going to use. This is very interesting. You can see that it kind of changes up here. You can definitely play around with that as well. I'm going to come over to the brush and I have my color. I'm going to make sure that I'm on a different layer. I do not want to paint on top of the picture because if I make a mistake, I cannot go back. So remember, this is a stack of cards. So we want to continue working on a different card, a different layer so that this background layer isn't changed. Of course, you could upload it again, but you're not going to have your painting on a clear layer. And so I'm going to take that and I'm going to paint it. And so, there are no hard and fast rules when it comes to doing something like this. Basically, because I am using an image already, what's great is that I can definitely use this as inspiration and, put the dark colors where the dark colors are and the light colors where the light colors are. And really, the idea then would be to just play around with your paintbrush and see what it can do. And so you can see here, I'm coloring in that grass, but that grass was definitely had more than just one color. And so what I want to do is I can hide this, right? I can come back here. I can take my picker. I want to get some darker greens. I can do that. That almost looks like brown, which I don't want. Do a darker green. I can come back to the brush tool. There's also a pen tool. You can put back to the brush and I can kind of like add some color. I can change the brush size because there's some dark areas here, right? And this layer is above the other layer. And so if I want to, I can let us see that. And then you can see what's happening. Not the best. Yours is going to be much better than mine. However, you know, this is just to kind of show you what you can do. I'm going to come back over here. So it's a lot about playing with layers, playing with colors, playing with composition. Even if you don't like something, you can change it. But mostly you will play with the paintbrush in general. So I'm going to go back to the paintbrush. Let's see if I go back to the pen. Sketchy, trail, shaded, furry. I can do a furry brush, a furry, and let's see about that. That doesn't look too furry. So you can play around with that. I'm going to say Command Z. But the whole idea is to try to make your drawing just as close to the image that you have here, or even if it's your own image. So I'm going to do some grass, or if I wanted to come back and grab the color of the tree, I can do that, and then go here, get a new layer. Is it something that's going to take a long time? It could take a little while, so please take your time. Of course, I'm trying to make this video quick for you so that you're not here all day, but it definitely is something that I would like to take some time doing, because it seems like it would be, for me, especially an image like this, I think it'd be really fun to make this tree perfect and precise and make it my own. As I said, I could, if I wanted to, I can duplicate this. If I click on the three dots, I can duplicate this, press duplicate. And so now I can make another tree, or I can make this tree smaller. And so I could have this tree in the background. So you can definitely play around with it. Another thing that you can do with your drawing is select a large portion of your drawings to fill it. And say, for instance, if I wanted to make this path easy, what I can do is first I'm going to create a new layer. And then I'm going to select the lasso tool. And I'm going to, for myself, because I want to try to make this quick for you, I'm going to select the path quickly, and you will do it nice and slowly and make it perfectly wonderful. And so I'm going to select that. The next thing that I want to do is go back to the image, go to the color picker, and I want to choose the color of the path. And so it's up to you if you want a dark gray, light gray. I'm going to pick that. I'm going to go back to the layer, and then I'm going to go to the fill tool. So the fill tool, and I'm just going to simply click on that area. And so you'll see that I'm going to click on this and then click off of it. You'll see that the edges are very clean. If you like that, fantastic. If you want to kind of make it a little fuzzy just so that it's not as perfect, you can come up to filter and go to details and play around with blur or Gaussian blur. You can even say smooth. You can play around with those as well. And then if I click on, let's see, as you know, I have the layers. So if I want to bring this above that, so you can see how we do that as well. So that's another way that you can fill a large portion of your image. Do the best that you can. Have a lot of fun.